Hello everybody. Today's video is gonna be a little different, man. As you can see, I got my anime swag on. Bam. Check out the symbol. Pick out my Majin Vegeta. Check out my Majin Vegeta hat. But today I want to talk about, I'm gonna try to make the video quick, because I can be long-winded sometimes when it comes to this. I don't want to repeat myself, but let's talk about Super. Dragon Ball Super. My likes and dislikes. First of all, let's run around my likes. I like the whole concept of gods in the universe. Because they fought everything else. They fought aliens, magical beings, or whatever. But Super, they started off with gods. They started with beers. Now, they don't need to, if you're watching this video now, you should have been all caught up with your Dragon Ball or whatever, right? So, if you say you haven't watched it, I don't know where you've been, but you should have been caught up with everything. So, nothing I say shouldn't be no surprise to you, right? But I'm just talking about my personal opinion, my issue with it. So, back on point, that I like the whole concept of gods. Something different. They introduced us to a kid named Beerus. He's a god. He came, proved this. He came, beat the floor with all the Z fighters, even Goku, right? He beat everybody. So they had this whole concept about a Saiyan god, right? Because Beerus had a vision, whatever, right? They figure out Goku figure out how to become a Saiyan god through efforts. Everybody all the Saiyans had to give Goku their energy. Goku became a god. He had problems at control at first. In control, he had power controlling his powers, whatever. He lost to Beerus, right? We all know the story. He lost to Beerus. Instead of, so I did like the whole concept of Goku new form. He's a god, whatever. To me, they should have continued with that lore and they should have made episodes going to that backstory of how the first Saiyan god looked or whatever, right? They should have continued that. They should have continued Goku learning about God Ki and how to control it and keep maybe spar with Beerus and get stronger in his form. To me, they should have went that route. But I liked the whole concept at first. They made it seem like God Ki and regular Ki was on two different tiers. That was my impression when I first watched Battle of Gods in the anime. It kept hitting home that Goku, you had to become a god. You need this ritual in order to keep up and fight Beerus, which was a good fight, but Beerus ultimately won. Beerus decided not to destroy the planet. Cool. You all know the story. Right? But my issues started to come in when they brought back Frieza, a character they already beaten in Z. Goku got a new form now, right? And Frieza, he was a strong villain, don't get me wrong, at first in Dragon Ball Z. But Goku and Vegeta are leagues above. Like even the other Z fighters, they should be leagues above Frieza, right? So they bring back an old school villain, right? And he couldn't even beat Super Saiyan 1. He lost twice to the same level, right? He lost to Goku as a Super Saiyan. And he lost with Trunks as a Super Saiyan. But he came back to life, right? And he trained for what, 6 months, I believe? Correct me if I'm wrong. He trained for that long, right? He wasn't trained by no gods like Whis and Goku was doing, right? Like, no, I said Whis and Goku. I'm sorry. Goku and Vegeta were trained by Whis, right? An angel that's somehow stronger than gods, but that's their lore, right? Goku and Vegeta been training for years, right? They had a lot of fighting experience, whatever. Frieza got fighting experience too, but they brought back a weaker version of Frieza. Frieza, he should be insignificant, but he trained for 6 months. Not only Frieza surpassed Super Saiyan, which he could never beat, he surpassed that. He surpassed Super Saiyan 2. He surpassed Super Saiyan 3. He surpassed Goku, formed that Fort Beerus in new God form. Then he is slightly stronger than Goku newer form. Right? To me, Frieza destroyed the whole point Like to me, Frieza getting that strong didn't make no sense. Like it destroyed, like it devalues Goku's God form, right? It devalued the God form. If Frieza, that's not a Saiyan, was able to get that strong with no explanation, no true explanation of why his DNA is so superior to the Saiyans. I thought Saiyans had the superior DNA, but evidently Frieza's race got the superior DNA. If you can train for 4 months to able to keep up with God Ki type characters, what was the whole point of Goku and Vegeta learning God forms? Like really, what was the whole point? If they regular Ki could surpass it, like what was the whole making a different distinction? Like Super Saiyan level 3 should have been enough to keep up with Beerus then. That means Frieza's golden form would have fought Beerus better than Goku did in Battle of Gods. I want you to think about that for a minute. Golden Frieza would have had a better fight with Beerus in Battle of Gods. So God form's going to be surpassed with regular Ki. But in the Battle of Gods, it seemed like they made a distinction of how strong regular Ki compared to a God. They made it seem like no matter how strong regular Ki get, it'll never be on God tier. Which I liked that concept. That's the way I perceived it anyway. Right? But Frieza destroyed the whole thing. Right? See now to me that's like that idea alone. I had an issue with that. Frieza. Instead of them but instead of them continuing with a new villain with God type Ki, which would have made more sense. Cause what was the whole point of like Red became obsolete, Blue quickly became obsolete because Frieza was stronger, right? But of course they brushed it over by giving Frieza a weakness that he didn't master that golden form, and that would have led to his loss. Right? That would lead to his loss. But if Frieza would have mastered that form, then if Goku and Vegeta never received a God form, they would never stood a chance against Frieza. But Frieza, like that villain, don't make any like bring back Frieza and make him that strong with no explanation. Didn't make no sense. I could understand that Frieza learned about the God forms and he wished to become a god, like he got the Dragon Balls from another planet or something along those lines, or he was trained by another like Champa. To me, I could have accepted that more, but the fact that he trained for 6 months, according to the anime, he beat up one of his henchmen, Toma. He was able to get that strong by beating somebody up for 6 months. Think about it; it made no sense. Goku and Vegeta, on the other hand, were training with Whis, was way stronger than Beerus, by the way. And was able to see God forms, but it seemed like Whis' training was useless because Frieza was still stronger than him. You see what I'm saying? So, and I'm not, and there's no point to even go any further than the Frieza part, because Zamasu don't make any sense either, right? Zamasu was a Kai, right? He seen how strong Goku got, so he decided to take Goku's body, but he had to go to the past. But he took a weaker Goku's body that wasn't even God, right? He was the one that Beerus fought in Battle of Gods before he became a god. He got Goku's body, but still able to beat the blue form. So my issue with Dragon, they get these transformations, and there's no significant, there's no wow about them. Think about it. None of their new forms beat a villain. It's like Zaman and Kais are usually weak, you know. So it's like, like like why get these forms? At least in Z, the forms had a significant role, right? Super Saiyan defeated Frieza twice, right? You had Super Saiyan 2 defeated Cell. Cool. You know. Majin Buu, Goku 3 could have beaten Fat Buu, but he chose not to. So these forms had significant roles in Z. But in Super, they get new forms just to lose. Like, what's the point of them even learning these forms? Right? Like Zamasu, he only lost because Zeno helped. The most overpowered character in the series. They could snap his fingers, throw his hands in the air, and kill anybody. Destroy universes. So they had to cheat to beat Zamasu. Merge Zamasu. So the new forms didn't mean nothing. Even the fusion of Goku and Vegeta in God form couldn't beat Zamasu, right? Because of time. Jiren, right? His story don't make no sense either. He is somebody that's supposed to surpass, supposed to be stronger than the God of Destruction, which I never believed. Even if he was stronger than Beerus, it still would have been dumb because why put Goku and Vegeta against somebody, right, that couldn't be the God of Destruction? Because they couldn't be the God of Destruction, right? That's why I never believed that Jiren was stronger than Beerus. Because why they wouldn't have the heroes fight somebody they couldn't beat, or potentially beat. They couldn't beat Beerus. So if this person was stronger than Beerus, what chance do Goku and Vegeta have? So I never, from that alone, that's why I never believed it, right? So Goku went from blue, Goku Vegeta went from blue, and Goku learned the most overpowered technique there is. And that was Master Ultra Instinct, right? Look how fast, and he learned that form too fast. Just like he learned Super Saiyan Blue, and Ultra Instinct, like he learned all these forms too fast. Like he didn't even, like to me, they should have had him Master Red, then Master Blue, in shorter time, in longer time spans. But he mastered this form that Beerus couldn't even master. What? It's like, but he still couldn't beat Jiren because it had limits, right? He fought Moro. He had the opportunity to beat Moro, but he screwed that up. You see what I mean? So it's like they get transformation just to lose, and no matter how strong they get, they write themselves in the hole. And the thing people complain about, well, he got Master Ultra Instinct. But the thing is, do you really want Goku to be that overpowered though? To beat all these villains in one hit? But the problem is they fighting against villains that shouldn't stand a chance against them. See, that's my problem. If they were going to introduce them with God forms and techniques like Master Ultra Instinct, they should have fought those kind of people. In my opinion. So pretty much my overall thing that the transformations, they learn the transformation too quickly, and when they do get transformation, there's no reward for it. It's like it's pointless. No matter how strong in Goku, it's almost if the forms of God form and angel forms, whatever, they only strong if people like Beerus and like Whis have these forms. It's like when Goku and Vegeta use these forms, it don't mean nothing. It's almost if these forms only meant for the people, the writers, to deem worthy of the power, right? Goku got Master Ultra Instinct, right? But he ain't nowhere near Whis Ultra Instinct because Whis is constantly in that state. Vegeta got a God Destruction type form, right? Ultra Ego, right? but he'll never be on a Beerus. Right? But they get these forms, but people with regular ki can still beat them. It's like, why introduce these? Why even have them God form? They should have just trained with their regular ki. But, and this is like I'm about to repeat myself, but I think hopefully I get what I mean. That the only thing that really messed up Super it's the transformation. It's the unnecessary power scaling, which don't make no sense. Broly definitely don't make no damn sense. Broly is a saying, cool. He got high potential, cool. But how they written him, he shouldn't have stood a chance against their base form. But okay, let's get him. Okay, sure. Okay, let's get him benefit of the doubt, right? That he had died. His Super Saiyan is unique, right? But Super Saiyan 2 should have been enough. Because Broly when Broly came on the scene, he didn't know how to turn Super Saiyan, right? He had limits. Vegeta shouldn't have had to become red, you know, the red form to even drop Broly. Because Broly wasn't even a Super Saiyan yet. So Goku and Vegeta was a league above Broly. At least on the first Broly movie in Z, it made more sense. Broly was already a Super Saiyan. They was all around the same level. So like the first Broly movie was more believable that he could beat these guys. The new Broly, it wasn't believable to me. It didn't make no sense to me. That Broly was beating. They had to fuse to beat Broly. At least the first one, everybody gave Goku energy to beat him. Now this Broly don't make no sense. He shouldn't have beat the God forms. So pretty much the God forms are usually insignificant. They become useless forms. But that's just my opinion. That's the end of this video. Tell me your thoughts, opinion. You agree or disagree? If you like what I'm saying, I can make more content. See ya.